In the world of the Reynoldsburg Toastmasters Club, the members are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the communicators that present speeches and the leaders who perform roles. These are their stories.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests. As our Madam Toastmaster stated, the title of my speech is, What Have I Gotten Myself Into? Have you ever gone through one of those moments where you've thought, what have I gotten myself into? As you think about that, let me ask a question. How many of you own your own home by show of hands? Great. Okay. How many of you, if you don't own your own home now, one day would like to own your own home? Great, because you know what? That is part of the American dream. Now, those of you homeowners, those of you who already own your home and you've gone through that process, do you remember your closing that you've gone to? If you can recall, just take a moment. Remember when you got there and all those people sitting at the table and they brought a stack of documents to you about this thick and they wanted you to sign them? When they want you to sign them, I'm thinking, okay, you're excited. Remember, you just bought a new house. You're excited. So is your mind on the closing documents? So when you walk in, of course, and all these people are sitting at the table, and you're sitting at that table as well, you look at these documents, but is this what's on your mind?
No.
No, you know what you're thinking about? What about watching the Ohio State football game in the man cave on that big screen TV? You've already pictured that man cave in the basement. What about the kitchen with those granite countertops, or the big island right in the center? Wow. Ladies, I know you have to think about this. What about that dream walk-in closet with all the shelves for the brand new shoes you were going to buy? Wow. So you're thinking, let's get this party started. I want to think, come on, give me the keys. I'm ready to go. But before you get that party started, you've got some documents to sign. And as you get ready to sign all of these documents, you're writing one page, person sitting next to you, they sign, pass your page, you sign in the document. And as you go through signing all of these documents, you're thinking like, oh my goodness. You're signing, and you're looking, and you're signing. And then you try to get a glance of what's on these documents. You're trying to read. But do you know what you're reading? I mean, what about all those legal terms? One document says mortgager, mortgagee. Turn the next page, you sign it. That page is saying escrow accounts and 2-month cushion. What is that? And then you look at another one, we're talking about a trustee and a security instrument, and you're looking at that and go, oh my gosh, my brain is fried. I could be signing away with all these documents, my firstborn. What have I gotten myself into? And as you think about that, something else, all these documents, but one document out of this whole stack is going to stick out in your mind, and that's your note. And I've provided each of you a copy of this note, the first 2 pages. Now what the mortgage note is, this is a sample, but it's a real one. This is what it really looks like. What this document does, it's broken down in sections. How much have you borrowed? For how long? 360 months. Oh yeah, they're telling you months because 30 years sound like a prison sentence. When your payments are due, who are you gonna mail your payments to? When you will be assessed a late fee, how they're going to do that late fee, all of that's in this document. But when the title agent explains it to you, she's going through all nice. Remember the commercials that you hear when it's giving you all the side effects of one of those high-risk medications, prescription medications, and you listen to the side effects and you're thinking, I think I might be better off just keeping what I got. Documents. So here's what I'd like you to do. Turn to page 2. Look at the bottom. That's the signature section that says your name. Here's what I'd like you to do right now. Take a pen and write your name on one of those lines. Because that's what you would do in your closing. And then on another line, I want you to write another person's name. And right now, I'm going to give you a person's name. Either write James Brown or Aretha Franklin. On the same with y'all. Your name. Write your name. Yes. So let's put this a second aside. Remember, this is the one document that you're really going to pay a lot of attention to. Let me tell you again why this document means so much. Because you just signed your life away. 30 years.
Yep.
Why is this document so important? Why do you ask? What have I got myself into? Let me give you an example. Derek and Chiquita, they got married, bought a house together. How great that is. Sadly, Derek falls in love with Ingrid. Moves in with Ingrid and divorces Chiquita. But because Derek is a gentleman, Derek decided to leave the house to Chiquita and their 8 kids.
Oh, 8.
And he's advised his attorney of what he's going to do. Put that in the divorce decree, will you, sir? After all, he is a gentleman. Well, now, Derek is deciding, okay, his attorney advises him, you know, Derek, you need to sign a quitclaim deed. And you have a copy of the quitclaim deed on your last page. The quitclaim deed, Q-U-I-T, is exactly what it's saying. I quit. It's a document that he signs to say, I'm giving up my rights to the property. And I'm giving it to Chiquita. All of my portion. So he's done his deed, right? Well, Chiquita and the 8 kids, she loses her job or anything happens, Derek has signed a quitclaim deed. But guess what? He also signed a note. The divorce decree, the judge, the attorney, Ingrid, whoever else want to get involved, can't override that note. So what Derek has done, being so in love with Ingrid, has given up all rights of the property, but he's still responsible for the mortgage payments. What?
Wow.
And the only way for Derek to have his name removed is 2 ways, one of 2 ways. An assumption or refinance of the loan. But sadly, he can't do it without Chiquita. I had you sign that note as another example. That note that you signed, if you take a look at that for just a second, with just a note, you signed either James Brown or Aretha Franklin. With those signatures, let's just say that one of those died, whoever you chose. They had adult children. Well, James nor Aretha had a will or put this in a trust. So when they passed, you figured, hey, now all of this is mine. Well, the adult children are coming in now to take his portion of the property. Can they do that? What if you were married? Absolutely they can. Did Aretha or James legally give you their portion before they died? Or did he leave it up, or she leave it up for grabs? What have I gotten myself into? You see, you each only own half, and you both paid for that mortgage. But you only own 50%. What I would say, because we sometimes ask that question, what am I gonna do? What have I gotten myself into? With a little bit of pre-planning and a little bit of research, then you can respond. Doesn't matter what I've gotten myself into, but I know I can get myself out. Thank you.
Toastmaster members and visiting guests. On August 16, 1981, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Louise Franklin, passed away. And like most of the world, I was deeply impacted by her death. Aretha's singular genius is eclipsed, in my opinion, by no other singer at this time. This is not a eulogy to Miss Franklin. We've already witnessed the spectacle of her funeral. We've already heard the color commentary about who did what, who said what, and what was left out. And we've seen the video clips online and on television. So this is not a eulogy. This is my singular expression and homage to the Queen of Soul. Music has a unique way of touching our hearts and our souls. Music can take us back to the past. It can help us ruminate on the present, and it can fast forward us to the future. Music leaves an indelible imprint on our psyche. Music and those singers who offer their creative contributions to us basically become family members. They are the soundtrack to our lives. And I'm sure when you have heard the news about a musical legend or icon dying or passing on, you probably can remember where you were. For instance, we all can probably remember where we were when we got the news about Michael Jackson. Most of us probably knew what we were doing when we heard about the violent shooting of Tupac and Biggie. Many of us can recall how we felt when we heard the announcement about Whitney Houston. And we are still in shock about Prince. We're confused. And Luther Vandross, when he left us, let the shock waves hit the musical community as a result of that void. So music holds a special place in our heart and our soul. It is the soundtrack of our lives. What I do remember most about Aretha and what her singular genius was her incredible vocal phrasing. Her vocal lyricism was none other. There is no other, I think, that can compare. Her interpretation of a song was original and organic. Otis Redding said it best. When he heard her version of Respect, he said, and I quote, "That girl done took my song and made it hers." Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, who sang You Are, let's make sure I got the song right. Ashford and Simpson wrote it, and I just had a little gaffe here, but they wrote the song, You're All I Need to Get By. And her rendition left them in awe. In addition, Carole King, who wrote Aretha's pivotal song, Natural Woman, said, I wrote the words and the lyrics, but Aretha breathed the soul, the fire, and the essence of that song. Remember, Aretha impacted 5 generations of young musicians and singers. She has impacted a whole generation. Aretha's catalog is so huge, I don't have the time to go through all of her songs. Aretha had a time period that was not like the current time period. In other words, Aretha did not have a lemonade moment, nor did she have a Coachella event. Aretha just had a microphone and her song and the desire to inspire. That was her goal. In her essence, her legacy inspired me to write a poem, which I hope to share with you, but my battery might be dying on my phone. My particular style of poetry is narrative in nature, and when I heard about her passing, I wanted to craft a poem that would incorporate some of her song titles as well as her specific vocal lyrics that encompass some of her songs. So I'm gonna try to get through it, and hopefully my battery will hold up. The poem is entitled, of course, The Queen of Soul. The Queen of Soul died today, leaving a cosmic void, a spiritual chasm, a vocal rift in the world. Ain't no way. With her voice, her soul, she commanded respect. Bared her soul, exposed her inner depths. Her lyric phrasing, her flow, with such vocal power, Aretha let us know her voice was an instrument, a Stradivarius. Like Louis' horn and Ella's scat, the Queen's sound was so fat. So sure, so confident was she in that. Aretha knew she possessed a gift that was heaven sent. A privileged child born of the church, the Queen of Soul knew her godly worth. Despite whatever she went through, she intrinsically knew what she could do. She threw back her head and opened that mouth, and the sound and the soul deliciously poured forth, gloriously spilled out. Into our ears, our heart, our head, and psyche, Aretha's gift immersed deep inside me. Like a bridge over troubled waters, her voice spanned generations. And from the musical world, her colleagues, the world heaped much veneration. She was a natural woman who kept it real, unfettered. Aretha, her name says it all. A vocal giant, she stands tall. She kept us cool, kept us rock steady, kept the world ready for a ride on her freeway of love. Her scream, her wail, her moan sent us to see Dr. Feelgood in the morning. While daydreaming with the Queen, she made me think about what I was trying to do. And Miss Aretha schooled me about a rose in Spanish Harlem that grew right up through the concrete. The Queen whispered to me, "A rose is still a rose," said, "Baby girl, you got the power." Miss Franklin's voice showered me with praise when she said, I was young, gifted, and black. And together, yes, together, we searched for a spirit in the dark. That's when I heard Aretha shout, "Mary, don't you weep, tell Martha not to moan." And we cried together over a liar and a cheat. She tapped on my window pane so we could compare notes on the love we lost. The Queen of Soul inside my ear, my soul said, "I gotta find me an angel." And I nodded my head and repeated, "Oh me, oh my, I'm a fool for you." With her hand waving, she said to the DJ, "Don't play that song, because it brings back memories." And caressing those piano keys, Aretha and the choir softly sang, "Holy, holy," and brought the church to its knees. I played back the track with Aretha saying to Curtis, "Right on, Mayfield." And she informed George Michael she knew he was waiting. Annie Lennox chimed in with "Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves." And Adele was oh so swell with Aretha rolling in the deep. And the British collab continued with Sir Elton. And she told Luther she would jump to it. Aretha and I acknowledge no good men, both our hearts beat fast within to "Baby, Baby, Sweet Baby." And replacing Pavarotti on a gig, she hit notes so sweet, she brought the crowd to its feet. With outstretched arms, she embraced the world, and like any other Detroit girl, she represents her city well. And oh, does she have stories to tell about being that do-right, home night, hometown woman. Her crown, a gray hat with a studded bow, the microphone her scepter. She serenades Obama, her adopted son, the one, the first black president. From her throat, her tongue, my country, 'tis of thee, rang across the sweet land of liberty. And when the King of Peace was shot, at his funeral there was no thought about who would sing his farewell. For 5 long years, a chain of fools knocked down the house that Jack built. I told the Queen I'd say a little prayer until she came back to me. Then I humbly asked the Queen if she was a do-right woman who never loved a man. In disbelief, I beseech, I begged the Queen to know if I could call her the moment she got there. In heaven to meet her precious Lord, when she drops her mink coat down in stardust, to enter heaven's gate, the heavenly host with fanfare so great, robust and so hard, the stars explode. As they greet one of their own with thunderous applause, the heaven opens to welcome her home. Thank you.